Hello, See No Formal Wear. This is Steve, the manager of the Sterling store, and I have a video to share. I'm sure a lot of us have had this problem, and I've just about had it up to here. So, we're going to cover a few things. I'll make sure that Paul and Ted see this so that they agree with it before I send it out. But we need to do a class. It's called Buttons 101. Okay? Now, first thing, Buttons 101, use the right material and tools. Number 2, proper technique. I'm going to show you how to take thread, tie it to the button. Do not sew it to the coat. Okay? You sew it to the coat and then thread your button onto it. What have you just done? You've made a knot on the material of the coat. Right in the face of the coat, you've tied a knot. So when that button you put on breaks, the next person trying to put the next button on isn't going to be able to get that cleaned off enough to do it with their own button. And what will happen is, as they're trying to get your knot out of the material, what do? They cut the face of the coat's material. Big no-no. Do not do that. Okay? So, that's rule number 3. Do not tie onto the coat. We're going to show you how you tie on to the button itself, then sew onto the coat. Over here, and I'm going to show you how you tie onto a button. Okay, get yourself a needle, nice heavy gauge needle, your heavy gauge upholstery thread, and your button. Take your needle, slide it into the button. Okay, there's your thread. Take this, tie a knot in it. Just like that. Do we see the knot? Okay, now take your needle and right back here in this spot here, go in between the two pieces of thread, just like that. Pull your needle through. So what we're doing is we're setting a slip knot here, but we're going to secure it with a back hitch. And as we pull this tight, your slip knot is slipping and your back hitch will catch it at the end. And look at that. We now have a secure button. That ain't going anywhere. Now, when I sew this on, if this button or this thread were to wear out, this button falls off. The way that I'm going to sew it on and show you, you pull from the back, the whole thing comes out, and the coat is not damaged at all. It can't be damaged. Because you do it right, you cannot damage the coat. Okay, so back to the coat we go. On the front of the coat here, we're not going to slip a knot into it. We're just going to take our needle into our space and we're going to go straight through, all the way through. The fascia of the coat is very, very thin. It's not going to give you any strength whatsoever for when they're putting stress on their buttons. Okay? You got to get through all the layers because that backing and the back part here, the satin's tough, especially this folded over part. That's doubly tough. Get all the way through. Okay? Take your button up. Now, from the back, go up just a smidge. Put your needle there. Push all the way through. Okay? Now, take your needle and your button. Put your button on the needle. Whoop, fell off. Put your button on the needle like that. Push your needle all the way through. And so what have we just done? We've just looped our button onto our coat. And we have a loop in the back. Cinch this up, but not really tight. Keep it kind of loosey-goosey. One of the problems is people are tightening it down so tight that it's crunching the fabric and malforming it, and then it doesn't sit well. Also, if you tighten it all the way, you're never going to be able to find your hole again. Find where you first went in, take your needle, straight through the coat again. Look and see where you came out on the back side here. Try to match it up. There you go. Pull it all the way through, take up your slack, don't leave any extra pieces, but keep that button nice and loosey-goosey. find your re-entry hole again, go through it again, and then through the button one more time. Now, do this at least 3 times. I usually do it for top buttons about 4 or 5 times, and for bottom buttons only about 2 times. They're not supposed to be buttoning the bottom button anyway, but you know, whatever. So we've gone through a couple times. Now we're at the back again. Instead of going through again, do we see our little spot here where we left some material, some thread? Okay, take your needle, slide it in behind that thread, just like that. See, even the knot we're going to tie off is not tied into the coat. We're tying the knot off into our thread. Give yourself a loop there. Okay, take your needle through the loop. See, we have our knot. Now we're going to cinch up our knot on the bottom of the stack of thread there, just like that. Let's go through one more time. We'll double it up just to be safe, making sure we don't get any of that satin of the coat caught as we're going behind our little bundle of thread there. Just like that. Tie it off. There we go. Now we have a double slip knot there, so that's not going to go anywhere. Take your nips, come up here, leave yourself a little bit of thread there so that just in case it slides a little bit, it's not going to come unknotted. Clip it. So what do we have? We have a very sturdy button that ain't going to go anywhere. But if it does fray and break and fall off, guess what? You come back here, you grab onto that, and you pull on it, and the whole thing comes out, and no damage to the coat. I'm sure Bryden will be very happy about that part.